Oh, wait no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 79 of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph. On this very podcast, we talk about the latest and greatest in PlayStation. So alongside me, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy that we get to retry this again. Because,
honestly, yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
I got myself a Kratos and an Aloy. These little, I think they're called Stubbins?
They're little plush toys. They're adorable.
Yeah, little plush toys. I got this from Secret Santa, from Kind of Funny Group. And then I saw Aloy by herself in Target.
And you're like, you had to pick it up?
I can't leave her alone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God,
yeah,
I'm
awesome. Excited because I have these.
Oh my God.
I wanted these at PSX and I couldn't grab them.
Yeah. How much are they? Just for me?
I think they're $11.
Worth it. Wait,
Absolutely.
Do they have a Bloodborne guy? I think they have a Bloodborne guy.
There was a hunter at Target.
Oh,
but
Joseph's
I'm not a
going to
Bloodborne
Target today.
So, yeah.
Joseph's going to Target. Okay. Hi, everybody. So usually on this podcast, we talk about all things PlayStation. Today, we got a ton of stuff. We're talking about Apex Legends. We're going to be talking about Titanfall 3. We're going to be talking about Star Wars. I promise Sony's in there somewhere. Talking about Xbox Live.
Yeah.
What am I in my car? Blah. What is going on? But before we do all that, Kyle, I got to tell you guys one thing. I'm up for the Kind of Funny up-and-comer nominations. I've thrown my hat in the ring. If you guys don't know what Kind of Funny is, they're one of the largest podcasts that deal with video games out there. And they've opened up this nomination list where people could throw their hats in the ring, people vote on them, nominate their small creators out there like yourself or myself included. And so with that, if you guys could click that link down below, if you could throw my hat in the ring for me, nominate MrBadBit or Kyle Stevenson from the Trophy Room, please, it would mean a whole lot to us. It just you guys listening and watching both in your car. Well, don't watch in your car. I screwed that up again. Watching at home or listening in your cars. It means enough. If you could go the extra mile, that'd be amazing. Thank you. With that, Kyle, before we talk about all this great news, what have you been playing?
So I finally picked up Kingdom Hearts 3.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did nail it.
Thank you.
Second, third time's the charm. Yeah. Whatever it was. Yeah, I finally picked up Kingdom Hearts 3. I tried really hard to watch recap videos of the story so I can hopefully know what I'm getting into. I played 1 last year sometime, and I played 2 when it was released. So
my question to you is what what is your connection with Kingdom Hearts? Are you a loose fan or like just getting into the series?
Yeah, no, definitely not getting into it.
Okay.
I bought them on release back on PS2. I loved them then. But I mostly forgot the story after 1.
Okay.
So I know 1 very well, and 2 is still kind of But like I said, I try to watch the recap videos so I know what is going on going into this.
Yeah, because it's been a while. It's been about 13 years.
Yeah, and it was very dense trying to understand everything, and I kind of feel like the story is the same thing, just reworded every other game. But I digress. I hopped into Kingdom Hearts 3, and I love it. I think it's a great game. It's super fun. The gameplay is fast and unique. I love the form changes with the Keyblades and how you can equip different Keyblades and switch back and forth.
Yeah.
The attraction rides, like Final Fantasy summons, are great. The one thing I
love the teacup ride attraction, which these attractions are like huge, like summons in Final Fantasy. I don't know, I'm not a Final Fantasy nerd, I'm so sorry. But you summon these huge things, they're like huge AoE damage that just wrecks the entire opponent. It's awesome. It's fantastic. The first level, you fight this huge boss on like this merry-go-round train thing. Super dope. Super dope.
And it's a beautiful game. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Absolutely. And you're playing on a Pro?
I'm playing on my Spidey Pro, yeah.
Okay.
But the one thing I do not like is the dialogue and the voice acting.
It's rough.
It feels like it's a 14-year-old game. Because the dialogue is very much like Mickey Mouse says his sentence, and then there's a solid second of silence or something before the next person speaks. And you can tell they're reading off the page. Yeah. They're not really the character fluid talking to each other.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss.
Like stop motion. Yeah.
Yeah, and some voice actors are like nail it. Like the Woody. Woody's actually, I think, Tom Hanks' brother. I forget.
Oh, sweet.
I think I learned that in Joe After Work stream, that's actually his brother or something like that. Buzz Lightyear, they also nailed as well. But like, there's some other people like Mickey Mouse. I could have done a better Mickey.
Yeah.
And he also, this Mickey does not talk about kneecapping fools. Pretty disappointing. With that though, so you're liking it so far.
I'm liking it. I'm excited to keep playing to see the other worlds.
My question for you, Kyle. Are you excited for Anthem? Because you got to try the beta. I got to try the beta. What did you like? I'm sorry, demo. How did you think of it?
So last week we talked a little bit briefly about the VIP demo and its glitches and loading bosses, and how I was super upset that I wasn't able to play by myself. It just would not let me do it. So this weekend, the public demo, I finally was able to get into like the private beta, not private beta, private server to play by myself, and right away I tried to do the story mission with Matthias.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. I got to like where all the enemies are, and you could totally tell that they really, really want you to play with other people.
Yeah. So you're not a multiplayer gamer. You're not even like social, social multiplayer type, like PvE type. You like to, lone wolf it, which I respect.
And like, even when it comes to like wearing headphones, I know a lot of people wear headphones when they game.
Oh,
I
you don't
do that. I do not do that.
I can't game without them. I know that sounds weird.
I wish I had the space and like I lived in a place where I could, realistically, but
what do you mean? They're just headphones. You just put them on and you just.
Well, yeah, but then if they yell, like the
that's
nieces
true.
yell for me.
Yeah, if the nieces have started a death battle upstairs, you need to break it up.
But like, I got to the main enemies and I was constantly running out of ammo. Where I kind of had to just run around and melee them as best as I can or use my special things. But there was the cooldown. I got to like the big, huge, like giant characters at the end of that mission.
Okay.
Where you have to fight 3 of them.
They're really tough.
They are. They're really tough. And by myself, I was out of ammo. And it was just a lot of running
I was just using my
dodging.
abilities. I feel you there too.
And their area of attack, their main area of attack, effect type of attack.
Yeah, they hit the ground and there's like waves
I couldn't
of fire.
dodge. Like I couldn't figure out how to escape it, and I was constantly like, it took me maybe 40 minutes to do that by myself, and I was the big Colossus one because I wanted to try out the Colossus javelin, and I love how that feels and everything. So as of now, I'm kind of iffy on buying it on release.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just I love the story. I love the visuals. But it's something where I feel if I don't have a solid squad and I already do so many other things, like I don't know when I have the time to sit down to play with other people. That's kind of why I play solo. And depending on how this weekend goes, where we can play Division 2, because I have that beta ready to go this weekend.
Ooh, boy.
We'll see what edges it out. So maybe I'll have to pick one or the other. And
that's what a lot of people are talking to me about. They're like, Joe, I can either pick one or the other. I don't know. Like a lot of people, I feel so like for me with Anthem, I played solo and it was harder on solo for sure. But then playing it with people, man, that game is fun. It is so much fun. I played as the Storm class. Did you play as any classes or just
the Colossus, standard? the big tank one?
Okay, I played as the Colossus. I liked his movement. He is a tanky character. So I love the one thing about these javelins. That's what they call the mechs in the game. Is that the sound matches the movement. Like the Colossus feels like this hulking beast because each step you just hear the impact. The Infiltrator, which is like your roguish javelin. You've kind of the movement that they give it makes it feel like it's lighter, and the Storm makes you feel like you're a wizard in the air just levitating. And that's what I played mostly. The Storm class in Anthem is your mage in any other like wizard or whatever in any type of role-playing game. Man, it felt great, and the effects that they use, it surprised me that like frames did drop when very hectic things were happening, but I was surprised how well the game held together, at least on the PlayStation 4 Pro version. For me, I'm really liking it. It has a lot of promise. I like the story so far, the characters that we get to meet. It feels like a BioWare game in that sense.
And it did something where it kind of jumped ahead in the story. You started out at level 10, and it made me intrigued as to find out like how we got to that point.
Yes.
Which,
yeah,
which
what
is
is
cool.
this thing that we're working with? Who is
Yeah.
Mateus? Like, there's some good questions and good voice acting across the
Yeah.
board. The instance that we got to play, or the stronghold. I use World of Warcraft terms. I get it, guys. Stop yelling at me. I'm a nerd. But yeah, the stronghold where you're playing with a team of people to get all that rare gear and all that such. Really fun. I really liked it. There's some few things they need to work on it for sure when it comes to the design of the levels and what you're supposed to be doing. They don't kind of give you a good framework or good instructions of what you're supposed to be doing. But other than that, it's a ton of fun. Like, I am in. I played at least 12 hours of this beta. I really enjoyed it. And usually, again, I say beta, it was a demo. Usually when it comes to demos or betas, I'm kind of like, nah, not in for it. Don't want it, don't need it. But for this one, jumping in, dude, I couldn't stop playing. I can't wait. I'm sold. So that's weird that we're coming differently. But there is a beta that you got to try out.
Oh yeah,
and
very
this is
lucky.
Dude, let me tell you,
Very
this is the impressions episode of the Trophy Room. Yeah. This one, I'm really pumped about. You actually got to get your hands on James.
I did, and I can't believe it happened.
Oh my god.
So, first I want to shout out the person that gave me the code.
Yeah.
His name is Cody. Cody Bernston. He's in the Facebook, kind of funny Facebook group. Mm-hmm. Basically, there was a post about Dreams, and I said something like, man, I really wish I got in the beta so I could try it out. And he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I have the code. I'm probably not gonna have a chance to hop in and do it." And so I was able to download the beta and hop in and mess around with it a little bit. And I texted you like, I barely even played any of it. I was like, Joe, this game is special.
Yeah.
Dreams is special.
What did you get to play? What did you get to do in Dreams?
So the first off, the beta started with like a short video of them saying, "Hey, we appreciate you being part of this.
That's
It
awesome.
is NDA, whatever." But like, you can tell how much love they put into it and the passion behind it.
That's awesome.
And then a little tiny tutorial, give you the basics of how to, dive into objects to take control of them and kind of map out. It's kind of like the Little Big Planet hub where you can create things and put stickers everywhere. Little basic demo there, and then it opened up and you could actually go experience other people's dreams, like what they've made.
Yeah.
And I got to try out that first person shooter in Dreams.
Ooh, how did you like it?
Super impressive.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that they made into it in such a short period of time, and for the beta, has me excited for them to get like the full release and enough time to actually flesh it out even more. But the shooting felt great. The enemies were super cool.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then there's a lot of, I kind of hopped into not playable things, but they call them like scenes.
Okay.
To just kind of look around and see how detailed of an environment people can make. And it was like walking into a painting.
Wow.
It was so incredibly detailed and flawlessly done.
And this is like, what, a month?
Yeah.
Of just maybe a month and a half of people just getting in their hands with this.
And I love how they showcase everybody's stuff, where it very clearly had like Media Molecule where it was made by them, and then the number of times people has viewed the dream or entered the dream, and like editor's pick type of thing, so it's easily identifiable. But there were hundreds upon hundreds of things you could have popped into.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then after I did the first-person shooter and I messed around with a little bit of the platforming stuff, I tried to see if I could create anything.
And?
I didn't create anything myself.
Okay.
But I extensively did the tutorials.
Okay.
And the tutorials are super well thought out. It's very holding your hand, but you kind of has to happen that way.
Right, yeah.
And
did you feel like you were getting a grip on the game?
Absolutely. And the way they made the tools in the game is so genius.
Yeah.
So basically the very first tutorial is like move around the level, how you can manipulate the camera so you don't get lost. How basically if you hold L1 or R1, it basically acts like a shift key on a keyboard. So like if you press R2 to grab something, but if you if you hold down L1 and then press R2, it has another function, which is super cool. And then how you can clone objects on the map, and how you can link it together, so you don't have to worry about it being. You don't have to worry about lining them up perfectly. You can just clone them, and it follows the string, and it stays in a straight line. Or you can rotate it and make like an arch with the blocks. It's so simple, and
you're like, we're not artists here, no, right? Like, we're no Adam Leonard who makes all of this awesome art.
Absolutely not.
You know,
but I feel like if I could have had the whole day and sat down and went through all the tutorials, and have done them all, I think I probably could have created something pretty cool.
Now, I do also want to I was trying my best to try to Google like media molecule. I was trying to do the fast search, and it kept on doing like muscle media. I'm like, no, I don't want to look at hunky dudes. I want to look at dreams. Media Molecule also announced that February 20th, they're going to have another update. So we don't know what that's about. That's a little bit of flash news. But with that, Kyle, you're coming off super high on this. I'm pumped. Yeah. You're pumped. With
Absolutely.
that's our impressions. I know it long in the tooth, this one, but dude, we got to play. Well, Kyle got to play Dreams. That's awesome.
And that's a huge PlayStation thing. And I'm so excited. It's something. It's same thing how I think of PSVR.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to talk about it unless you experience it yourself. And it's one of those things where it kind of changed my perception on it. Obviously, I saw Dreams in person at PSX.
Yeah.
And I've seen these creations like on Twitter and stuff. Speaking of which, they had the PT thing. I could have done the PT demo, but I decided not to.
Kyle, don't tease it. Because you didn't want to get scared?
I didn't want to get scared. But it's the thing, like, the moment I got into Dreams and I saw the love and care of it and how massive the tool set is and how much you can create, I'm 100% in. That's going to be like a game if you're on a deserted island and you can only pick one game. It'd probably be Dreams because it has every type of game you ever want inside of it.
Awesome. Yeah. Kyle, with that, that's our impressions. Let's get straight on into the news, the goobers. What is the first piece of news in our goober section, Kyle?
Our first goober comes from Polygon. It says, Respawn's Apex Legends, a Battle Royale Titanfall spinoff, available now. Ooh. Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment released a new free-to-play Battle Royale game, Apex Legends, today for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. You can download it now from the PlayStation Store, Origin, and Xbox Game Store. Apex Legends is set in Respawn's Titanfall universe, but it doesn't feature playable Titans, the sci-fi shooter franchise's signature mechs. Instead, Apex Legends stars human and robotic heroes known as Legends, each with their own special powers and weapons. Like other Battle Royale games, players airdrop onto a map in a battle for survival in an ever-shrinking area, scouring for loot and weapons. Rounds will feature up to 60 players on teams of 3.
Bohotep writes in, he asked this, MrBadBit, with all the positive reactions about Apex Legends, do you feel that this Battle Royale will give Fortnite a run of its money? Also, what are your impressions of it? So, to give you guys just a little bit of an extra backdrop, this was teased during the Anthem beta. Demo. Keep on saying beta. It's a demo. And I was just like, this is probably not real. Like, why would EA do this? This might cannibalize, Anthem or make people stop talking about Anthem, start talking about this mystery game.
In what way did they tease it in the demo?
There was, they were just like, there was like news, rumors coming from various sources. I'm just like, no way they're going to drop this right after Anthem's demo. No way.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And it did. And during like a few hours before the Super Bowl, Vince Impella, the CEO of Respawn, just goes, "Hey, we got an announcement tomorrow. We're gonna start teasing stuff 9 p.m. We're gonna release it, 12 p.m." And I was just like, "There's not a day and date. This is just this good." And if it does happen, it's EA, right? EA's the devil. That's why you never see Andrew Wilson and Satan in the same room together. Duh. But like you think that, so you're like, it's just gonna be an easy cash grab. It's just gonna be awful. Whatever. This is gonna ruin the name of Titanfall. There's no Titans in it, Kyle. No Titans. Yeah. That means this battle royale is gonna suck. And when it launched, they didn't Respawn didn't call this a demo. They're just like, yeah, no, this is the game. This is it. And one of the quotes actually from the producer of Titanfall said this: "There are some people who think there are way too many Battle Royale games or it's a fad. The world thinks we're making Titanfall 3 and we're not. This is what we're making. To try to convince a skeptical audience for months with trailers and hand-on articles, we're just like, let the game speak for itself. It's the most powerful antidote for potential problems." And so this is a game. This is not a beta. This is not a demo. This is the game. It is out, ready to get people's hands on it. And holy crap, the self-release worked. They had all these influencers come in. They had people like Dr. Disrespect start streaming the game. And as of recording, right now on Twitch, it is the most popular game on Twitch. 300,000 people are streaming, watching this game being played. They just came out with a number that over 2 million users have logged in, 600,000 active users at a given time, and that's on its first day.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's crazy. And my first impressions of it, speaking very briefly because Bohotep asks this, is that, what are my impressions of it? This is actually a really solid Battle Royale game. It's really good. This is not just like when I'm bored of Fortnite or whatever have you. Respawn's done something really unique where they're just like, we know we can't compete with Fortnite, so let's not even try. What we can compete with, what we're good at, is first-person shooters. So let's take the assets from Titanfall 2, the weapons from Titanfall 2. Let's just say it's in the Titanfall universe. Take the gunplay because we know it's solid. Let's build on that. And let's go after Call of Duty Blackout, because we could go after that. That's an easier thing to tackle than this juggernaut that like Fortnite. And at the same exact time, we make the art style semi-cartoonish so that we appeal to the youth. Right? That we appeal, like, hello, fellow youths. That's what they're doing, and it's hit. It's done really well. Now, we can see how far this bad boy goes, but so far, so good. It's a really, really good game. Now,
my question to you is, with Apex Legends, it's you pick from a class, right?
Yeah, this is a class-based. It's kind of like Overwatch meets a Battle Royale game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it works. A lot of the classes are fun. They're unique. They all have their strengths. They all have their weaknesses. I believe there's 6 classes you start off with. 2 you have to unlock, but you can, of course, use real money, which sucks. Yeah. But it is what it is. And yeah, it's Titanfall minus the wall running, and that's not a bad thing. It's Titanfall minus the mechs. And what you end up getting when you take those 2 things out is, it's really, at the end of the day, just think of it, Call of Duty 4 meets Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. So it's like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.5. And that's fine. That's awesome because that's one of the best shooters ever freaking made. That's a game that Respawn made when they were Infinity Ward. The game feels so freaking good. And we've got players or people who are playing the game who would normally just avoid it like the plague. Like Sean Capri has a question in here that I'll pull up in a second. But like, he's not a Battle Royale guy, and he's playing it for the first time, which is crazy. So you didn't get to play any of this, I assume.
Not yet. It's seeing how much people love it, and it's doing the thing where it's gonna get me to play it because it has classes in it and it's unique. Like, everyone's gonna have a unique ability from what I can tell. That gets me a little bit more hyped to play.
Okay.
But I also saw that you have to have a squad of 3. There's no solo.
Yes. Right? As of right now, there's only trios, they call it. So It's only technically squads, you and 2 other friends or randos play together. Now, not a lot of people like to talk on the mic anymore because you're going to have kids calling them the N-word and having sex with their mothers and whatnot. So what they actually did is they have this pointer system where you tap the RB button at wherever you want to go. You double tap it if you see an enemy.
Whoa. RB.
Yeah.
Well, this is a PlayStation podcast. Right?
Sorry, R1.
There we go.
I was playing, here's the thing. I was playing with Luke Lore. I was feeling bad for him. I started playing on the Xbox. I'm sorry. I'm gross. Anyway, so yeah, you tap R1 twice and you reveal the enemy location. You're like, I see an enemy here. Or if you see like health and you want someone to get it, you don't have to shoot at them to get their attention. You just tap R1 and then you're like, health pack over here, gun over here, armor over here.
That's awesome.
So you never have to talk. The communication like that.
That's pretty rad.
The one cool thing about this game, dude, is that the one problem I hate with most battle royale games, UI sucks. UI is great in this game.
Nice.
Like, instead of having to, when you find a better weapon, but you have all the attachments on your current one, all you have to do, if it's in the same class of weapon, is just pick up the weapon, and all your attachments immediately go on the weapon you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, even
Also,
if it's in your inventory.
I think I read that there's no, like, different qualities of weapon. Like, if
Exactly.
you get whatever weapon it is, it's
the
same for everybody.
attachments that help the weapon out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's awesome. It's unique. And yeah, I'm addicted to it, man. I can't stop playing it. I'm even playing it on the Xbox One. That's how crazy I am. Because I'm playing it on both systems. I don't care. Am I getting wins left and right? Yes. The also cool thing, too, is people that have the most kills, they'll actually announce that. They're like, there's a new champion. And like, what? There's a new kill leader. And like, you actually see them on like these
It's very much
screens.
like Hunger Games, probably.
Yeah. Exactly like Hunger Games, which is nuts.
That's awesome.
Mr. Glorious One writes in. He goes, question for the podcast. Of course you can. Could Apex Legends release her Anthem? Excellent question, Moody. What do you think, Kyle? Do you think with the success of Apex Legends that this could hinder the launch of Anthem? I said that weird. BioWare's Anthem. There you go. I just said Anthem.
I think it could.
Yeah.
I mean, just on dollar and cent wise, like Apex Legends is free to play, and Anthem is a full $60 game. So I mean, just there, if people don't have the money to go get Anthem, you got a quality, what sounds like quality, free to play title, kind of in the same vein where you're running around with friends and you're just battling to see who can be the best.
To me, I think when it comes to Apex Legends and Anthem, like, I'm still picking up Anthem day one. I'm pumped for it. I'm excited for it. But for me, I'm also loving Apex Legends, and I can't put it down. But I know by the time the month ends, I'll be willing to go try Anthem out. You know, the cool thing that they've done, smart thing rather, not really cool, business savvy thing, is that they haven't released the Battle Pass yet. So that's actually in March they're going to release it. So it's not the feeling of, and maybe they did that because Anthem's coming out, where they didn't want to hinder Anthem by going, oh, well, I already, having customers going, well, I already bought this thing, might as well get my money's worth out of Apex. Yeah. Smart thing they're doing here is like, no, this game's free. There's some loot boxes in it if you want it, but it's free. And so you don't have that guilt of like spending God knows how much money on skins, because for the most part, there's like, some cosmetics you can buy, but it's not forcing you, which is weird because it's EA. So I don't think it's going to hurt it much.
I think what will hurt the most from this is whenever Battlefield's version, right, comes out.
Yes, that's what I really think the true problem lies, is whatever Battlefield's, if at this point their Battle Royale version comes out, I think that's the thing that's really going to hurt it more than anything. Yeah. Now, Sean Capri, host of the Xbox Drive, asks this. Why is Apex Legends so popular when the characters are so meh? I'm struggling with this myself because I can't put down the game. Kyle, my thoughts on this is I thought the same thing as Sean Capri over there. Mm-hmm. The character designs, the art style, I'm not a fan of. Okay. But I think the game's so popular because the gameplay is so good. Yeah. How they launched it, the stealth release. That, and you're not looking at the characters that much anyway.
Because it's first person, right?
Because it's first person. You're looking at the gun most of the time. So that's why I think a lot of people are able to look past it. And also, like, I look past it a lot in Fortnite. Because Fortnite's art style, though I've poured too much money in that game, I'm not actually the biggest fan of the art style. There's better, but I still play it because the gameplay is so rewarding. So I think that's the true testament, is that the gameplay is so good you can look past the art style. So with that,
really quick before we move on.
Yeah.
What do they call the win?
They call it the champion. And what's really you're now the champion. What's really cool is when you go into your next game, they announce you as the champion.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're like, here's the top squad, and you see the kills, their kill count, and then if they won last round. And then when you kill them or they die in the match, you'll go, the champion has been slain, or something like that.
Oh, nice. I like that.
It's dope. It's Respawn, man. They're amazing at multiplayer. It's amazing. with that, Kyle, let's get to the next story, shall we?
Next goober comes from Push Square. It says PS5 backwards compatibility suggested by Sony patent. Sony has filed a patent for a method of backwards compatibility. Supposedly, the newly devised system, as authored by Mark Cerny, praise be to Knack, the guy who designed the PlayStation 4, will allow the PS5 to run all previous PlayStation software. And yes, in theory, that covers PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 games. The technical side of this supposed backwards compatibility system sounds pretty crazy. Essentially, it allows the machine, the PS5 in this case, to mimic the behavior of previous consoles using multiple processors. In other words, when an old game is booted up, the PS5 tricks the software into thinking that it's running on its original device. Again, it sounds rather ambitious.
Ooh. So, Kyle, what I've been saying for months. A lot of people are very nervous. Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Mm-hmm. These patents suggest it. At this point, it's safe to say PlayStation 5 is going to be backwards compatible. My question to you is, how backwards compatible is it going to be? Is it just PlayStation 4 games? Or are we going back to PS1 itself?
Man, if that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
If you can just play whatever game that has a PlayStation brand on it, like, that is the dream, and I will cry happy tears. So I can play like my obscure RPGs from PS1 era that will probably never see the light of day in a remake fashion. Mm-hmm. I think this is 100% going to be fully backwards compatible.
Yeah,
I really do. I think what you were saying in there, I think I think Sony is listening. I think they've learned their lesson when it comes to the crossplay thing. Mm-hmm. They have announced a name change thing, even though it's not that great, but they are listening and trying to make it work and happen. And I think right underneath those two, it's backwards compatibility. Yeah. Now, to what extent is it? Like, is it going to be like the Xbox One where you can just put in the disc and read it straight from there?
That's
or is
true.
it going to be like a PlayStation Now thing where everything will be unlocked pretty much? And you can kind of like download it from there if you subscribe to the PS Now service.
That's very interesting. That's a really great point you brought up. Is this something where I could put any old disc in there, or is it something of a service that they're going to be offering? Something tells me it's going to be the latter. It's going to be probably a service that you're offering to them, to players, that, hey, if you want to reminisce about the good old days, here's all that for you. We're going to be growing the catalog over time so that what you have, just similar to Game Pass, right? Where like every other month, like this month on the Inside Xbox, Larry Herb announced like a few games. I think Batman Return to Arkham, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's just last a couple months ago.
Yeah, last couple months. And like Crackdown, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not the Xbox guy, but like Xbox people lost their minds, right? Like, holy shit, this is huge news. And every single month they have like, here's a new game that's coming to the Game Pass. Here's a new game that's backwards compatible. And I think if Sony's smart, I think the biggest strength that they have is their library. Their backlog is so much superior than Xbox's, right? Yeah. In terms of like, the PlayStation 2 catalog is one of the largest catalogs of the history of video games.
Yep.
And there it is, right there. You can unlock, 5 games every single month, and they could be trash, whatever have you, but sometimes it could be Castlevania, Legacy of Kain. It could be Twisted Metal. It could be Jak and Daxter, right? Sly Cooper, Infamous. The sky is the limit.
Yeah, GTA series.
Yeah. And it's just over time, have these games here it is, here's some more nuggets, and you control the news at that point. You have a day where you celebrate PlayStation. What better way than that? Because I don't think it's as easy as saying like, here's one disc tray to rule them all. That's a lot of money I would think Sony would be throwing at it.
And so I can imagine the PS5 is going to have a 4K player in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I don't even think they can 4K like lens or a 4K player read a DVD disc?
Yeah.
Or CD disc?
Yes, it can.
It can?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just uses a different layer when I think it uses a different laser when it does that.
Gotcha.
Or does it use the same one? I don't know. I'm not a nerd. Someone yell at me in the comments. But yeah, so for that, I think that would be amazing. Like
Yeah.
you have, PlayStation 3, PS2, PS1, they're all backwards compatible on this service. And then for PlayStation 4 games, because it's Blu-ray, you have that little laser disc, whatever, you put it in there, bam. You're playing your PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation 5 without the service, and then everything else with the service.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to write that off because they're legacy games. And you get to sell them again because they're legacy
Absolutely.
games. Have the option of like buying or straight up streaming them.
And it gives Sony the option to be like, hey, we know you want another entry in the series, or you want this to be remastered, remake, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here it is. Just like if you want to play it, I know it's kind of hard to find them, especially like the older games are probably really expensive, really hard to find one. So here's your best chance of playing it now, and it's as easy as ever. And I think it's such a brilliant thing. It's something that should PS4 have now.
Yeah.
But
it is what
I'm happy that I'm hoping this is actually a thing.
And you hit a really strong point, is like Sony's listening. They don't have to like yell it from the rooftops that they're listening. They could just do things silently. They could just do it like, hey, here's like, again, like here we fixed PlayStation Now. Again, it could be better. They could price drop it, but like you could download your games now instead of just streaming them, right? You can now change your name soon. It's coming. Sure, it's not the best, but here we're listening to you. Here we're adding. I think there's another game coming to becoming a cross-platform, across everything game, which is awesome. So Sony's listening. It's just they're not yelling it from the rooftops right now.
Yeah.
They're kind of putting their head down. That's how I see it. But Kyle, let's get to the next story on the list.
Next goober also comes from Push Square, and this says PSN alone generated more revenue than the entirety of Nintendo in 2018. How big is the PlayStation Network these days? The answer, very big. Sony's online storefront generated an eye-watering 1,373 billion yen, around $12.5 billion US, of revenue in 2018, which is more than the entirety of Nintendo during the same period. To put this in perspective, the PlayStation maker made more money through the PSN alone than the House of Mario could manage across every component of its business. The PSN also made more than the entirety of Microsoft's gaming sector, which itself was up 23% year over year. It really hammers home how important services are becoming to platform holders, as persistent games like Fortnite and subscriptions like PlayStation Plus generate significant recurring revenue for the manufacturers.
So I bring this story up not to brag about how awesome Sony is, right? I bring this up to just show you guys that gaming is just in it's in its golden age, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody's doing really great. Like in that article, it shows you, right? Yes, PlayStation did very well, way better than its competition. But the competition, Microsoft, saw a 23% increase. They're doing great too. They're doing great. Everything's fine over at the House of Green. And in the House of Red, Nintendo, which I think we can all agree Mario has ruined the red hat forever. Wink to Luke Loy. They're doing great too. Like the Switch was the number one selling game, system of last year. Everybody's doing great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. This is a great time to be a gamer.
The only thing about this story that worries me, Joe, is it shows how many people are going digital.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that worries me, because as a physical media person, hanging on to the last thread of hope that it will still be around soon, and being forced to probably change to digital. But like you said, gaming is in its boom. It's in its prime right now, and God, I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It's really great. Hopefully someone buys out GameStop and they get that whole thing situated too, because I love physical media as well, man.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for my limited edition to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Of course I'll find a way to fit in a From Software reference. Of course I will. This is the trophy room. What do you think we are, man? Amateur hour? What's the
Actually,
next
that's two, because Bloodborne Hunter plushie from earlier. There you go. Another goober from Push Square.
Yes.
Man, they've been busy this week.
And let me tell you something. I see a pattern.
There are 36.3 million PlayStation Plus subscribers. This generation, the company's been particularly good at not only retaining existing subscribers, but also expanding its audience. And as part of today's financial report, it revealed that as of December 31st, the service has a whopping 36.3 million members. That's a record up 2 million from the end of September 2018. It means that around 40% of all PlayStation 4 owners are subscribed to the service, but it's perhaps worth remembering that people who purchase multiple consoles, such as those who've upgraded to the PS4 Pro, for example, skew the attach rate somewhat.
So, Kyle, I bring this up because, holy crap, that's great news.
Yeah.
Again, PlayStation Plus is amazing. A lot of people, like a lot of Xbox fans out there, a lot of the fanboys, let me tell you something. They go, well, actually, Xbox has over 65 million Xbox players online. That's not true. Actually, that number's skewed because they have tiered systems. They have a free Xbox Live service, which is their silver, and then they have the gold members. So this number right here, 36 million, is nothing to scoff at, guys.
No.
This is huge. And yeah.
And that's part of how much money they made in PSN probably, too.
Exactly. And just to see, like, this means 40% of all PlayStation 4 owners are subscribed to the service. And yeah, the number is skewed. So you can even skew that a bit higher to say maybe even half of the people that play PlayStation own this subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. That's crazy. With that, my question for you, Kyle, with the free PS3, PlayStation Vita games ending in March, what new feature would you like to see added to PlayStation Plus? I know we talked about last week that they're adding, cloud storage up to 100 gigs.
Yeah.
What else would you like to see come to the PlayStation Plus service to get that attach rate even higher?
Yeah. I mean, the dream is to have a PSVR game every month.
Mm-hmm.
But man, maybe have... I'm going to steal from Xbox a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Something that I really enjoy from Xbox's side and Xbox Live is I
Their
love
exclusives?
those goofy avatars.
Got him! Shots fired!
Oh, damn.
Can't wait for Crackdown 3.
I like their avatar system a lot.
Oh.
So I think that would be a cool thing to have on PlayStation side of things. And sure, it could be blatant ripping off.
Right.
Well,
I mean, they ripped off the Me, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that would be something cool. Not that would make people go out and buy Plus subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a nice little cherry on top to like the free games every month.
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe to customize a little bit more of the PlayStation Home, like the main screen a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know. Or maybe have the option to get rid of the awful video portion of the PS4. Like, do you remember how it used to be where you can just drop down and go immediately to YouTube or Twitch?
Oh, yeah.
And now it reloads a whole new page.
God, yeah, I would pay just
filled
to get
with
rid of that.
advertisements. Yeah, get rid of it.
Here's what they need to do, Kyle. You want to buff up subscriber rates. Here's what you do. TV. You're saying, wait, they already did that with Powers, right? Isn't this an awful idea? Exactly. That's why we're not going to do it. No, I would love to see PSVR games come and be a part of the lineup. Also goes to show that, like, yeah, PlayStation 4, you're still going to get those free games still. When the PlayStation 5 comes out, man, it's going to be a killer lineup. You're going to have PS5, PlayStation 4 free games, and then hopefully by that point, PSVR free games.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dope. Because the one thing that PlayStation Plus has been really good at, like Apex Legends, there's exclusive skins if you're a PlayStation member and a PlayStation Plus member. And they've been doing that a lot too. There's like these little free offers that if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you get like these skins for free. I know like in Realm Royale, you get the Battle Pass for free if you're a PlayStation Plus member.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like the great thing about PlayStation Plus is truly the discounts you get as well. Like I just saw before we started Far Cry Primal, only $10. Pretty solid Far Cry game if you're a PlayStation Plus member. It's dope.
I know the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy is also only $10.
Dude.
Which is a steal for those 3 games.
Yeah. But with that, Kyle.
Yeah, this next scooper is confusing me, Joe.
I'm not in my car and I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, did we steal from Sean and Luke?
They steal from us all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So just wait. Let's do a segment of, hey everybody, I'm in my car. You're watching the Xbox Not Drive. Bah. I'm gonna get Amy to come in the room. And I'm gonna be like, hey Amy, could you make me coffee?
I'm sure that'll go over well for you.
Oh, dude, it will go over wonderful. All right, so this segment is sponsored by the Xbox Drive, and they approve everything we say or do, so it's pretty much cool. They didn't do any of that.
Yeah, this,
This goober, I'm sorry. Go continue.
it's fine. It's fine. This
Sean,
goober
Kyle.
comes from Polygon. Microsoft says Xbox Live is heading to iOS, Android, and Switch. Windows Central called attention to the Microsoft presented panel, Xbox Live, growing and engaging your gaming community across iOS, Android, Switch, Xbox, and PC, which will cover the forthcoming expansion of Microsoft's online platform. Xbox Live is about to get much bigger, the description reads. Xbox Live is expanding from 400 million gaming devices and a reach to over 68 million active players to over 2 billion devices with the release of our new cross-platform XDK. Get a first look at the SDK to enable game developers to connect players between iOS, Android, and Switch, in addition to Xbox and any game in the Microsoft Store on Windows PCs. There's no mention of a launch window, but the panel aims to explain how Xbox Live will work on these varied mobile devices. The plan is to make achievement histories, friend lists, clubs, and more accessible to subscribers when they're not on their Xbox or PC. While Xbox Live is currently exclusive to Microsoft platforms, namely Windows, the Xbox 360, and Xbox One, Microsoft has demonstrated interest in collaborating with its competitors since 2017. The company has enabled cross-platform play for major multiplayer games like Rocket League, Fortnite, and Minecraft. When the Nintendo Switch version of Minecraft launched, both Nintendo and Microsoft even emphasized the connection when promoting the game.
Yeah.
Cross-platform play remains a core mission for Microsoft going into 2019, it seems.
So you might be asking yourself, Joe, you're not in your car. You're not harassing a McDonald's
I feel
employee.
dirty for saying Microsoft and Xbox so many times.
So many times. You know what, guys? You're in your car. Go to McDonald's. Order a soft drink. It's on me, right? Large Diet Coke. Chelsea, I got you. Here's the deal. The reason why we bring this up is this is the strangest move ever in the history of games. I feel like. It seems like. Because Xbox Live is something that you would play on your Xbox, right? You don't usually think about it going to other platforms until today. And this, to me, is a monumental shift to where Microsoft is headed in the next generation and where it seems Sony's very hesitant to going. So with that, you're only getting your friends list. You're getting,
achievement histories.
Achievement histories. Does that, why do this? I don't understand it.
I don't know. Is it a way for like, I'm strictly thinking on Switch's side of this.
Yeah, same here.
Is it so Nintendo doesn't have to put in the work to make their own achievement type system? Are they basically just going to use Xbox Live to do it themselves?
Like from what it sounds like to me, this Xbox Live service is to make crossplay easier for developers to get their hands on. I think that's the most important thing, where they're like, developers can get their hands on the SDK. That quote, very important. I think that's what the main thing is going into this, is this like, hey, developers, we're opening the floodgates. Epic did it last month. We're doing it right now. Crossplay is the future. And to me, it puts the fire on Sony to really just go, holy crap. Like, I talked about this on BadBit Games. Like, Sony is not in control of the messaging of crossplay. They're not in control of the conversation. They're barely having it. They're being too quiet on it. And Microsoft sees this as something of like, let's be honest with each other. Xbox doesn't have any exclusives. Like right now, they want everybody to not talk about Crackdown 3 by any means. They're trying to bury that game so bad because it does not look that great to most people. And so when you're looking at Xbox, you're seeing that they don't really have the games. They have some cool services, but what can they really do to help promote and better their image? And that's crossplay. Because they've seen Sony run the gambit on them this entire generation of the games. And like games like Horizon, games like Last of Us, games like God of War, like Spider-Man. And you're seeing all these games come out, flooding the marketplace, that Sony's just constantly killing it, and Microsoft's kind of sitting there eating glue, it seems. So I think this is a way to help better their image, but from Nintendo, it seems like this is a way for them to say, all right, we don't know internet stuff. You guys over there in America handle it, and maybe when we do our cloud-based service thing, we'll use some of your tech maybe down the line. We'll make a partnership with you. Do you think that this means, though, this gives an entrance for Microsoft to actually introduce Game Pass or Xbox games into the Nintendo ecosystem? I
Yeah,
know that sounds crazy as hell.
that does sound crazy. And part of me, like, as I was reading this and hearing you talk about it a little bit, like, is this Microsoft's way to kind of like undercut Nintendo a little bit? Like, is like
Yeah.
a shady deal? Like, where if you're playing Minecraft on Switch, like a little Xbox ad comes up and says better on Xbox One X type of thing.
Right.
Like I could, that's just
Oops,
me
sorry.
thinking the worst of Microsoft. But yeah, I think
Hey, Amy,
it's fine.
I got a
Oh,
question for you. Your first, hi. Could you make me a coffee, black to Splenda?
I'm sorry, Amy.
What?
Nothing. This is just for a bit. We're making fun of our friend. It's kind of an inside joke that we're sharing with our audience right now.
Okay.
All right, goodbye. I'll see you in a few.
Oh Jesus.
She was so bewildered. I'm sorry. I don't
Oh,
know
it's
what you
fine.
said the past 2 seconds.
What I said was part of me once thinks Microsoft is doing this like in a shady way.
Right.
Like where if you're playing Minecraft on a Switch, a little ad pops up and says better on Xbox One X. To try to like pull customers away from the Switch, but not really.
Right,
But,
yeah.
I think it's Nintendo's way of saying, "Hey, our internet sucks. I want to learn as much as possible from you over there, Microsoft PC people." And
I think they just
trying to
know that
benefit way.
they're so behind
Yeah.
that why even play catch up? Let's just partner up with the guys that already do it good, and not even
Absolutely.
just learn, just take from it.
Yep.
Right? Like, kind of admit defeat, but in Nintendo fashion. And at the same time, Xbox gets a win out of it because they are advertising. Like, they're not telling you up front, hey, this is better on Xbox.
Yeah.
They're telling you, though, hey, we're connecting our ecosystem, theoretically, our games, and we're partnering up with Nintendo. That's making us look great because now Nintendo players, if they're looking for a second system, are they going to go to PlayStation? No, they see our emblem all the time.
Yeah.
So they're going to go over here for their third-person games. And they're going to go play their first party in Nintendo. Everybody's going to be none the wiser. And so with that, let's get back to PlayStation because I feel gross. All right, let me get out of my car. Shellshock Prime writes in, with Xbox Live going on Nintendo Switch, Android, and iOS, would Sony try to make a similar deal, or will they continue to do their own thing?
Yeah, they're calling up Neo Geo right now.
Hey Atari, what have you been cooking up?
Hey, you know those flashback consoles? Teach us how to make an actual classic system. Not really;
Jesus,
those are garbage too.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think they'll try to make a similar deal. I think they'll do their own thing. I think what they have is pretty strong.
Yeah. It's also just a strange news story because I don't see. It's something that we'll probably see in the future push Sony, but I think this does, if anything, push them to actually start talking about crossplay.
Yeah.
Start controlling this conversation because now you got Xbox giving up the tools for developers.
Yeah.
And that's just something else.
And also, like, who else is to make a deal with?
That too.
Microsoft pretty much took everybody in that one thing.
They did partner with Steam that one time. That was nuts. Remember that? You got the Steam store on your PS3? Man, God, those are the days. Kyle, let's get to the last story on
last
the
goober?
list. Yes, sir.
Where does this come from? Oh, this is a Variety article.
Yes, I'm
Go
so
ahead and
sorry. I
give
didn't
them-
know. Yeah. Give
it's fine.
Variety a click.
Disney says it's never been good at video games. Remains happy with EA's work. Oh boy.
This is a good one.
The Walt Disney Company has a good relationship, in quotes, with Electronic Arts and has no interest in returning to video games, something with which it was never able to, again, in quotes, demonstrate much skill, CEO Bob Iger said in an earnings call Tuesday. We're good at making movies and television shows and theme parks and cruise ships and the like. We've just never managed to demonstrate much skill on the publishing side of games.
Yeah.
Iger said in response to a question about Disney's potential future involvement in video game development. The Walt Disney Company has been shedding its video game development and publishing interests almost as long as it's been in the business of making interactive entertainment. Over the course of decades, Disney has created and purchased studios and publishers only to later shut them down. In 2016, Disney discontinued the highly regarded Disney Infinity franchise and closed down the developer, ending all self-publishing efforts. That effort continued in 2018 with the closing of Club Penguin Island and the sale of Emoji Blitz, which is a great mobile game, by the way.
Is
I play
it?
Emoji Blitz all the time.
Okay, real talk here. I love my favorite part of this quote is not the funny joke where they say they have a good relationship with EA.
Yeah.
The kicker is we're good at making movies, TV shows, theme parks. Wait, he goes and theme parks, and then he's like, "Oh shit, wait, are we good at one more thing?"
There's one more.
And cruise ships.
And the like what else is left?
Yeah, it's like I don't know if.
Pajamas. We're good at making pajamas.
Yeah, we're good at merchandising. I don't know. Like you could have said like your retail stores. I don't know. Cruise ships just seems out of nowhere to me.
Yeah.
But like we also do fucking Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
Bobby Miller got that one. So like, yeah, it is.
God,
what a
thing.
quote. And I actually agree with him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like think in your mind, when was the last really good Disney game? Think about it. I'll let the dead air ring.
So the first thing that popped in my head when you said that goes all the way back to Aladdin and Lion King on Genesis and the Toy Story game on PS1.
But those are all licensed, right? Like,
were they not Disney Interactive? I thought they were.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Someone yell at me in the comments. But like to me, when we're thinking recent memory, like we're going back decades for those, right? Like, look at what they've done. Disney Infinity, Dunzo. Marvel Heroes, Dunzo. What else? Disney Infinity, Dunzo.
Aladdin was Disney Interactive.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong. Well, you know what? That's why you're the best. Epic Mickey, Dunzo.
Oh, that's a good game, though.
Right? It is a great game. But, like, all these games, they might be critical darlings, might be cult hits, but they've all failed. And when Disney looks at the list of what they've acquired, even LucasArts, I'm going to say it, guys. I know I say it a lot, but, Battle of Terakasi, not a good game. But, like, even when it comes to the Star Wars games, I get it. Dude, Jedi Academy, one of my favorite Star Wars games ever. Old Republic, really awesome, but that was licensed. We have a lot of in-house, like Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed 2, decent. But then you have games like the Kinect Star Wars, right? You have the Battle Pod Racing. Like, you have all these other games that just don't do great. I would loved Republic Commando, but it didn't sell well. And then you had that studio just bombarded with mismanagement. And I know it sucks, but a lot of people bring up like Marvel and how great they're doing. We've brought it up a couple of times, but I was thinking on the car ride over, they've canceled Marvel Heroes. Yes, they've bought a few small studios to make mobile games, but really the only thing that they have in their belt, Spider-Man. The other two games, like, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the reaction of that was very mixed, though I'm very excited for it. Yeah. And the Square Enix game, we saw a 2-second trailer years ago.
Yeah. Was it 2-3 years now?
Yeah, and I get it. Like, it's really easy to hate on EA, but because I hate how they've handled Star Wars.
Yeah.
But Bob Iger kind of has a point. What have they done that we blame EA for doing the same exact thing? You open up all these studios just to close them down. We've done the same. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think about all this news?
I at first I was like, no, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, Disney did make pretty great games back in the day. But the more I was listening to you, I was like, no, you're right. Like, I can't give them a pass for doing the same type of thing that EA does. I can't be mad at EA and not be mad at this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of have to, because you're right. They are very similar to each other.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see them take the IP and have a Marvel-esque approach where you're throwing to you're licensing to various different, developers and publishers, but that's just not the case. And right now, dude, Battlefront 2, for the controversy it caused EA, sold 9 million copies. Mm-hmm. God knows what those microtransactions did. Same with the original Battlefront. Same with the mobile game has a huge audience attached to it. My brother is one of those nerds. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah. I want to be angry because it's EA. It's easy to hate on EA. It's the fun thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do. It's like taking candy from a baby. but we don't need
Are
that.
we ever gonna see Disney take a Marvel approach and really look at and try to give out properties to certain developers?
Maybe after this run with EA's over, they'll take a look. I mean, again, we still have 5 years, and apparently, rumor has it is that Fallen Order from Respawn is killing it. It's really good. So if Fallen Order's good and it hits critically and it sells well, I think we're all going to shut the fuck up in about a year, you know?
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe we're right, but I don't know. With that, I want to turn to, for me, is the topic of the show. And I want to thank Famous Seamus for writing in, first and foremost. And Kyle, would you mind if I read it?
Absolutely.
Famous Seamus writes in, just like you can, via the BadBit Discord, a.k.a. Casa de BadBit, or you could write us in at PS Trophy Room. You could tweet at us. He says this. I know this isn't really a topic anymore, but I feel like I should ask. A few weeks ago, H Bomber Guy, a popular YouTuber, did a live stream of himself 100%ing Donkey Kong 64 to raise money for Mermaid, a transgender charity, after their funds were put under review after a well-known transphobic prick and his followers complained about it. During the live stream, several guests appeared, including Jim Sterling, Lindsay Ellis, Fallout New Vegas lead designer Josh Sawyer, John Romero, Donkey Kong 64 composer Grant Kirkhope, a U.S. representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and more, and the stream raised over $347,000 for Mermaids. I have two questions. Why didn't you guys talk about this? Because I think this is an excellent example of gamers doing great things for others. I have to admit, I was a little disappointed you didn't talk about it. Admittedly, there was or have been a lot of news, so I can see why you couldn't talk about it. So first, let me say this. I love this question. This question is the best question we have ever gotten on this podcast. Hands down. And I want to thank you for calling me on my shit. So I'm going to be completely blunt, honest, transparent. Like Kyle, we were talking before the show. You say that I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to rip my heart off, bam, right on my sleeve. So if you can allow me just a 2-minute rant, you get to time me here. First and foremost, I apologize. I apologize to not just you, Seamus, but everybody listening. I am a huge ally of the LGBTQ plus movement. They're people, and we often forget about that. I hate when I see all these people. I hate when I see people be bigots, right? Like say stupid shit about transgenders and mispronouncing their names and whatnot, or misgendering them because they don't understand. And instead of trying to understand, or at least accepting them, they rather just spew hatred. I apologize I didn't get to this story. I understood that there was a charity for transgender kids during that week, and like just the weeks in general, just to let you guys know, very busy with college. So I missed out. And that's not an excuse. That's just me telling you honest why I didn't make it onto the show, or else it would have. Usually we get it's a very touch and go subject. I know it makes some people uncomfortable, rightfully so. It's something you're not used to. But it's also a great way to inform people. You know, I get it. Some other people don't like it because they might not agree with it. But guess what? People are people. And whether you love someone or whether, you feel like you aren't who you are in your skin, the mission of life is to love yourself. And that's what the whole goal is. So I'm sorry that I missed out on this. There is no excuse. My apologies. Again, I didn't know the stream was happening, but it is what it is. But I want to make this very clear. I love the LGBTQ plus people, communities. They're amazing. One of my best friends, Ash, is transgendered, and I didn't understand that until he came out and until he showed me his true colors and said, this is who I am, and laid his whole self out on the line, and then I finally understood it. And so I just want to say, if you're out there, we love you, we I don't want to get political because this is a podcast about PlayStation, but it is important. Gamers just did something really awesome. Over $300,000 for kids, for a good cause. So many people coming out from various different points of view, right? You had a politician in there, you had a composer, you had John Romero. He made Doom, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, good on you, mermaids. Go check that charity out.
And I echo everything Joe said. I'm a huge ally as well to that community, and I don't want Joe to take all the blame here. I am one of the hosts of this channel, and I also dropped the ball on this. I'm glad that we are getting a chance to talk about it now and raise awareness about what happened now, because this is truly remarkable and it deserves to be talked about. And I'm very happy, Seamus, you called us out on this, because this 100% deserves to be said and talked about. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, one other thing too. Sometimes news slips through us. So BadBit Discord, we have like this news section. If you have a bit of news, you could just spam that link in there. Don't actually spam the link. Throw the link in there. I always check Discord every hour. I check it to make sure what's going on, everything's happy and whatnot. So please throw it in there. I always take a look at it. Usually when I'm looking at news stories, it's actually Push Square, Polygon, Kotaku, then IGN. So that's how you see. And DualShockers is actually a second on the list. So that's how we go through the news. That's why probably I missed out on it. But again, no excuse. Thank you. And 2, if you're going to do something similar to what H-Bomber Guy did, 100% complete a game while raising money for charity, what game would you play and what charity would you raise money for?
That's a really good question, and something I feel like we could do.
We can
in the future. I would probably go with what game would I 100% live stream? Probably the Ratchet and Clank, the new one on PS4. I love that game, and I've 100%ed it multiple times. I see what you're grabbing, and that was kind of like I knew you were gonna go Bloodborne. But yeah, mine would be something like 100% Ratchet and Clank.
Yep.
Spider-Man would be cool to do too. 100% run of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Well, no, Horizon's way too big. I don't think I even 100%ed it with my platinum.
That's true.
But yeah, I think something like a platformer, something that's super fun to play, would 100% do it. And the charity, it would probably Extra Life or I'm trying to remember the name of it, but is it Children's
Children's Miracle Network?
Well, yeah, that's for the Extra Life. I was trying to think of another one. Basically, there's a charity. I'm going to look this up so I don't fumble it.
I'll fill in.
That make sure that kids don't go without food.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because like every kid deserves to eat, and
no doubt.
It makes me so sad when I go to school and kids don't eat.
They can't afford it. Yeah. For me, it would definitely be Bloodborne. Why? Because I'm very good at Bloodborne. I'm not sitting here saying I'm the best and I can whatever. I'm just saying it's a game I'm comfortable with, so that I can talk to the chat and play without having to be stressed out about how I'm handling both. So I'd probably be Bloodborne. That, and it's just a really good game, guys. I would for a charity, no doubt, do Resident Evil remake. Because guys, we did it. We streamed it just for fun over the weekend. Moody was dying. Moody was dunzos. I was screaming because I did not see Mr. X come so soon. That's what she said, and it was terrifying. I would be terrified for a good cause, absolutely. Back in the day, I think it was about a year or two ago, we did Gaming Against Cancer because I'm all about that fuck cancer life. Cancer's awful. Cancer took my grandpa, and it should never take anybody. And so I'm very big on giving money to places like St. Jude Children's Hospital, because to me, the worst thing I can ever think about, not just cancer, is kids with cancer. That's awful. I remember when I was a kid, there was 2 girls that lost their battle to cancer. They're beautiful, amazing, smart girls that, man, it sucks. It's awful. I would love to eradicate that. The other charity I would like to do would be disabled gamers special effect. Having that Super Bowl ad, give it up to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you made me cry
Absolutely.
twice. Man, beautiful. That's what video games are. That's the power of video games. That's what I would do, hands down.
So I found the charity. It's called No Kid Hungry.
Okay.
.org to make sure that no kid goes without food, which is fantastic. Another one that I've also donated in years past that I would love to do a stream for is the Children's Health Fund. To make sure kids can actually go see a doctor when they need it and get the health care that they
That's
need.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, guys, I think we're going to end it here. We had one more question. I'm sorry, Eric. We couldn't get to you today. I'm so sorry. Next week. Okay? But your record still stands because I mentioned you on the show. So there you go. With that, gang, I want to just highlight the last two questions here from Famous Seamus. I can't announce anything yet, but to me, I always want to highlight the beauty of video games more than just PlayStation. I've always wanted to do something where I highlight other areas of video games that get overlooked, groups of people that get overlooked. And with that, tune in this month. At the end of the month, we're going to have some really big news. The third branch of BadBit grows, and I think it's going to be our biggest and most impactful yet. So, everybody, with all that said, let's get to the plugs. Kyle, what do you got to plug today? My man.
I'm gonna plug myself.
Hell yeah, that's what she said.
Who dat
Wait.
Ninja73
Yeah,
on Twitter and on PSN. Go ahead and send me the friend request. My show all about the kind of funny community. Best Friends Talk Funny. You can find that on Twitter at BFS Talk Funny, and anywhere you listen to your podcast services. So do the podcast thing. Rate it 5 stars. Write a review. New episode will be going up on Monday with Emmett Watkins Jr. from Los Harrow Games. He's incredible. I can't wait for you to listen to that one. And yeah, you can go out and I'm gonna go a little off topic here.
Yeah.
Not really that far off topic, but
Go for it.
talking about the charities. If you have a little bit to give, go find a charity and give.
There you go.
Because it's a great feeling, and put some good out in the world.
Yeah, please. With that, I'll do a little plug-in myself. You could go follow us or subscribe to us over at BadBit Games on YouTube. That's where you can find the video portion of this podcast that comes out each and every Thursday. You can like this podcast. You can like this podcast 5 stars. That would be the most amazing thing. You could do what Purple Monkey did. Okay, Jonathan Brown, the person that has made our intro for this show, the fan of a show. That's why I love it so much. It's my favorite intro because it's JB doing it. He rated us last 2 days ago. Yeah, I was going to say last night. But yeah, thank you so much, JB. That means the world. If you could do that, it helps grow this big, beautiful family I call home. I love doing this podcast. It means the world. Every night, man, I sit down. We just have so much fun. So I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Also, you can help me get nominated to be part of the Kind of Funny Up-and-Comer nominations. If you like this show and you want to see this show get highlighted in a big, major way, then you can help by nominating either me, MrBadBit, or Mr. Kyle Stevenson to be, or both, because you get multiple votes. You get multiple votes, guys. So help the show grow by going over there, kindoffunny.com/up-and-comer. Nominate both of us. That would mean the world. It's a dream come true. But hey, you know what? You know what's even a bigger dream? Every single week we do this podcast. My best friend Kyle. It's the most amazing thing. So that's just enough for me. Follow me at MrBadBit, at PS Trophy Room. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, keep
Real
hunting.
quick, Joe.
Oh, what?
Sorry. Do we want to tell people to go show some love to somebody this week?
Oh my god. I almost forgot. You know where we're going to?
Where are we going?
Media freaking Molecule. Go
There
hit
it
up
is.
Media Molecule. Send them the love. They did awesome work this whole month with the Dreams beta. Also, I almost forgot. Getting Fit with BadBit. We forgot last week. So let's do this right now. Kyle, I made up for lost ground. I am right now at 347.5.
Sweet.
I've
That's
lost 2.5 pounds. We're keeping on nosediving, and I love it. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation.